Hi, this is Gavin from FE News. I'm here at EPA Live talking to some of the interesting speakers on the stage, to people in the audience to get the latest developments in endpoint assessment. So this is Gavin from FE News. I'm at EPA Live and I'm here with Richard Meredith from OneFile. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Gavin. Yes, having a good day.
Can we talk about Ofsted? There's been some recent meeting you've been to.
That's right.
Around Ofsted and particularly around evidence in learner progress. Can we have a bit more of a chat around what you learnt the other day?
Yes, on Monday I attended the review of the Ofsted's inspection from 1819, and it was interesting to see that their shift is now towards the impact that it's had on the learner. So really looking at more the way in which the learner progress is being calculated, where their starting point is, and really at the end what they've learnt from that experience. So data is still important, but more it's about the learner journey. So when they're going in, they're going to be talking to the learner and saying, where are you now? When did you last have a discussion with your tutor? And what impact has that had on your learning? And also on the progress that you've made. What we've tried to do over the last, probably the best part of 9 months now, certainly here at OneFile, is to develop something that creates a way of being able to track learners. And it was really interesting that it sort of resonated with what Ofsted was saying, the impact that the initial assessment, or let's call it the skill, the scan that learners had on their journey through to the progress that they've made. What we've tried to do then is show it in some sort of digestible format. So when it comes to the review of that learner, the learner themselves, the employer, and the provider delivering that program can see very clearly where that progress has been made and can adjust it. We've heard so many times today here at the event at Knockin on that importance of the learner being very much aware of where their progress is and the impact it's had, not just on their progress through their qualification, but also the impact that it's made on the job in which they're doing, particularly now as we've moved away really from a qualification into something more about the impact it's having on their progress, their job, maybe even where they want to be in terms of their long-term goals for that matter.
And Ofsted's been talking for a while around the 3 I's about
yes.
The way, and that's taking the learner journey into context. How would you recommend that providers and employers think about evidence in that learner journey? So as it's everything from the intent, impact and implementation, isn't it really, about how can they evidence how the learner has progressed? And I think longer term, outside of apprenticeships, it's something which maybe the sector needs to be thinking about, how we can always evidence how learning has impacted the learner journey in their career, really, isn't it? I mean, what sort of tips and suggestions would you like to share, really?
Well, what was really interesting from the event as well on Monday is that Ofsted are now looking at where programs have perhaps been delivered in the past and maybe even currently, where they maybe have focused on things such as management. And let's not dish that in any respect, but they've chosen subjects that have been more generic. What they're now saying is we're going to be trying to push almost funding and push the opportunities for people to gain skills in the sectors in which we will need in the UK to help grow our economy. So we could be looking at construction, we could be looking at nursing and so on and so forth. So what they're saying is that original curriculum of intent, so there's your intent, is really important to identify what are we going to deliver and how is it going to meet those skill gaps. So that still could be quite generic in many respects because the skills are still expected across sectors anyway. What they're then saying is how you're going to implement that based on that learner's initial scan. So is that person at start A or start B? So there's your journey, if you like. And the impact of that is, where is that person now? Are they ready for promotion? Are they ready to do the job in a most efficient way? How has that impacted on the employer? So we, along with many others, will start to look at how that has been developed over that time with the employer. So where does that employer say that it's met their skills, so that when we're developing our side of things like e-learning, when when providers are starting to look at how they're developing their curriculum, there's some synergy still between those three areas, and that's really, really important.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Why not click subscribe so you can be informed when the latest next individual podcasts or podcast mini-series from FE News are going to be released.